You call it emotional regulation. I called it emotional suppression. You called it growth only because it made other people comfortable. You did not heal. You just adapted. You shape-shifted. You learn how to restructure your whole entire emotional system just to survive in environments that punished your humanity. And that's not healing. That's trauma with a discipline, and that's pain with a planner. See, most people don't realize that trauma doesn't always scream. Sometimes it smiles. It overfunctions. That's why the most broken people still walk and you would never know what's going on with them. It says I'm fine in 5 different languages because it was never safe, to be honest. And what the hell did they tell you to do? They told you to be strong. They told you to be quiet. They told you to be mature. But what they really meant is to make sure that we're comfortable around your discomfort. So you learn how to compress your grief into convenience. You learn how to fold your sadness into sentences like, I'm just tired. And it's not that you weren't tired, it's that you were exhausted of pretending. And let's talk about therapy. No, therapy did not heal you. It gave your wounds a better vocabulary. It taught you how to talk about your pain without shaking, how to label your coping mechanisms with a DSM-approved language. But deep down, the little things flinches still when the room gets too loud. You still walk on eggshells when love feels too easy. You call that healing, but healing is not the ability to articulate your trauma. It is the ability to live without constantly having to manage it. And let's go deeper. You weren't emotionally distant. You were emotionally punished. So your nervous system mistakes safety for boredom and chaos for connection. And you did not learn how to regulate your emotions. You learned how to suppress them because regulation would have required someone to witness them without judgment. But no one ever stayed long enough to make sure that it feels safe. Now you call your walls boundaries, you call your avoidance peace, and you call your shutdown maturity. But here's the truth. Healing isn't what you think it is. Healing is about crying without shame. It's about shaking without having to apologize. It's about never having to explain. Today's not a good day. It's reclaiming your softness in a world that told you that survival meant becoming steel. Because real growth is learning how to feel without folding. It's learning how to be seen without shrinking, how to love without losing yourself again. So no, you did not heal. You evolved to fit into systems that failed to love you as a whole. You became palatable into a culture that celebrates detachment as discipline. That's not the end of the story, because healing starts here. When you stop calling your silence strength, when you stop explaining away your pain, when you stop watering down your truth for people who were never thirsty for it. You were never too much. You were just surrounded by people who are limited to hold you. But you don't owe them a compression. You don't owe yourself a compression either. You owe yourself an expansion. So be loud, be soft, be unedited, be whole, be who you are.